What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nintendo Land, and we are back yet again with another locations you missed in the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This is part 6. Yes, part 6, and you guys are still absolutely enjoying it and showing so much love and support for the series. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to put all these videos in a giant playlist because a lot of you guys are also starting to comment some things that I've already covered. So feel free to check out the past locations you missed in a playlist that I'll put in the description down below, where you guys can catch up on the past videos and locations that I've talked about and covered before. But today, yes, we are diving into 7 brand new locations that you guys have given me thanks to your comments. So this is only possible thanks to you guys. Make sure if you have a cool location, whether it just be something that you found really nice to look at or a interesting location that ties into the story and somehow, just make sure you comment them down below and comment where to find them. Be specific so I can easily find your location and you could appear in the next video. It's that simple. This can be in the depths or even the overworld. Just choose and you could appear in a video. But thank you so much for tuning in, and let's dive into the 7 locations that you could have missed, part 6. The first one we have on this list takes us throughout the map to visit the 3 great skeletons. Now there's a side quest that you can actually pick up from the Akala region right beside the stable, where you can talk to an NPC that has you going around these different areas and finding these skeletons that are slightly different from Breath of the Wild, which actually has you messing around with them in different ways. The one in the Elden region actually is missing an eyeball, so you have to pull out a giant boulder from underneath it in order to plug it into its socket. The one in the Hebrew region now needs to be rebuilt, where you'll actually go through and break different rocks in order to pull out pieces of its bones to plug it back together and pretty much rebuild the Leviathan after, I guess, it kind of broken down thanks to all the upheaval and events from Tears of the Kingdom's intro. But then you'll also go to the Gerudo region, where the skeleton is gone completely. It actually is now underneath the sand, underground, where it has fallen, and it even has a little baby this time around that you can find and also help rebuild in order to build back the mama and the baby once again, which is really cool. Yeah, adding a 4th little Leviathan in there. I thought that was cute. I also like how the rocks in the ceiling show like it actually sunk down into the sand, and it kind of adds to the world building. I thought it was a really nice idea. Now on this next one, we're pretty much going to go on the flip side. Now I don't know if there's actually a quest for the dark skeletons, at least I haven't found it yet in my playthrough, but yes, there are dark skeletons that are in the depths directly below the Leviathan bones from above ground. But these skeletons are definitely different. So for the Gerudo dark skeleton, once again in the same area but just underground, at the bottom left of the depths, you'll find a very long skeleton that's very different than the Leviathan. It doesn't have a giant head, instead it looks a lot like the dragons that we see right now in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. The one in the Gerudo region looks like its head is smashed into the side of the cave wall. One in the Hebrew region is more intact and hanging off of a giant chasm, which is pretty cool to look at, and you can even walk on the top of this thing all the way throughout the chasm. And there's one sticking out of the dirt from the Elden region, which you'll have to definitely put some gear on or you'll catch on fire. But these definitely leave a lot of questions, because one of the questions you can say is, don't you actually live forever and bound to eternity when you actually turn into a dragon? That's what it tells Zelda in the game, at least Minoru tells her that. And all the dragons that we've seen in Breath of the Wild are still floating in the air and apparently are from the Zonai age. So how did these 3 dragons die if you really can't? Well, quick spoiler alert for the ending. If you played the ending, you'll know that you can actually kill one of these great dragons. So yeah, I don't know how these died and why they're called the Dark Dragons. So that tells me that maybe they were not so good and had to be taken down. But I'm open to any theories that you guys want to share my way, maybe for a separate video. Also, in the mouth of each one, it has a special chest with some gear for you. Next up, we have a really cool Serene Area beside Deep Back Bay, and it's just left of Mappa Point, which it has a cool location full of some enemies, some Arakudas actually carrying some Lizalfos around as well, and it's just a really pretty, really cool area. Now this area was actually one of the very first areas we seen, I think in the 2nd trailer for Breath of the Wild, right before the game actually came out. And I remember seeing this area, but yep, they've added some little cool things here where you can find some chests, including an Arakuda that's actually holding a chest, and it's just a really pretty area with tons of seagulls by the ocean. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Next up, we have the Upland Zorona Byroad, which is an interesting cave at the side of the Zorona Plateau. Inside this cave at the very bottom, you'll find an area filled with tons of ancient Hylian structures, which is really cool. There's even statues of soldiers all around this area and 2 soldiers that are actually guarding some type of giant door. You can lift the door in order to drain the water and get a special outfit, but it does make me wonder what this door was here for in the first place. Like, what was it holding back? Was it some type of creature or something? Because all it is a little cavern with some water, and of course we can't underwater swim, so we can't necessarily see what's underneath there, which is very interesting to me for sure. So I do wonder the history of this place and exactly what this was for. Next up we have the Burrito Lookout in Chasm. Now you can actually go to this giant chasm that you'll see in the Gerudo section, and it's super massive. It's almost impossible to miss, but somehow I have never jumped down here. Maybe it's just because it was so obvious I thought I'd wait, but yes, there's a little lookout area where you'll get to actually run off and jump into the chasm, even though a Korok will be in your way after you complete it. I don't know why they put it right there. It ruins the kind of scenery of the jump, but you can dive straight on into a under pond that's sitting there in the depths, which is really cool, and it's like on the top of a giant monument surrounded by huge tree roots. It's a really pretty location, and it's a really fun jump just to dive into here and check out the depths from this area. Next up we have Eben Mountain, which is right behind Zelda's home in Hateno Village. Yeah, the one that she stole from Link. But it's a beautiful mountain with a beautiful overlook of Hateno Village with a cherry blossom tree sitting at the top all alone. It's an awesome area. You can also give a golden apple in order to find the location of nearby caves, thanks to Satori, the lord of the mountain. But yeah, it's just a really cool area. There's nothing really else unique about it. It's surrounded in Korok seeds all around the different sides of the mountain. But yeah, if you're just having a great moment sitting here at the top and resting as you look over and look at the city and towns below, it's so beautiful. And last but not least, this one's more of an interesting tidbit. It does focus with Tarrytown, but did you know that lots of the bridges within the overworld have tunnels underneath the ground, which is really cool. But let's look at Tarrytown, the bridge to Tarrytown, and then the tunnel to a mine underneath Tarrytown. Yeah, there's actually a mine under there, which is really weird because these mines are normally tied to settlements that have been here for a very long time. That's why there's mines down there, because they used to be some type of greater importance thanks to the Zonai age. But if you think about it, Tarrytown was just built in Breath of the Wild. How does it have a defined mine underneath it? It's like it was supposed to happen. It's like that town was built there for a reason, and maybe there's something deeper with Tarrytown that we don't know, because it has its own individual mine, which a lot of people may have just missed or skipped over, as there's a small tunnel in order to get in here. So maybe this place was once a very important place in the past. It wasn't just a new place for homes in Breath of the Wild and here in Tears of the Kingdom, where Hudson built his family and a lot of other people homes here. Maybe there was something important back in the Zonai days. It's very interesting. And that is 7 brand new locations that you may have missed in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed these places and you want to see more like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things The Legend of Zelda and Nintendo in general. Yes, it'll only take a quick second. Thank you guys so much for your support. Let's see how many we can get to subscribe from this one video. Let's try to beat our goal at 250,000 subscribers. We are super close, but thank you so much, and I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.